Hello, I'm and welcome back to Store Sunday. This is the Sometimes Willy series I run on my channel where I show you Minecraft store content that is particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way. And today I wanted to talk about texture packs because they are one of the rarest pieces of content on the store. There are hundreds of skin packs made by hundreds of different people. However, one of the interesting things is that there is only 17 texture packs, and the vast majority of those 17 are made by Minecraft themselves. So of the 17 that aren't made by Minecraft, it's weird because two of them have very interesting themes of they're both sci-fi, but they overlap a lot. They're basically competing texture packs. One is a lot more expensive, one is cheaper, and I figured let's check out the cheaper texture pack and let me tell you what I think, because as I went and checked it out, I had some very interesting and surprising thoughts on it, and I wanted to share them with you in today's review, so hopefully you all do enjoy. Please do like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot and lets us know you do like seeing, again, the texture pack reviews. It's been a long time since we've done one, but I feel like we should cover some of the other texture packs out there. A lot of you do like them, and a lot of you want to see your world in a different format, but you don't want to, download the texture pack first. So here is your review of Alien Worlds, and let me just get started by saying, again, I use the exact same world for all of these reviews. I have an overworld section with all my builds that are the same, and animals, and wolf lung, all this sort of stuff. We have a nether section, and then we have underground. They're the three major ways to use the texture pack on a daily basis, which is why it's important it works on all of them. However, to kind of get into this one, first of all, we have to start with the HUD, because you're going to see as I eat some melons, just to show you the way the HUD works. It is a really intriguing set of bars, which I don't necessarily like, but I do love how clear it is as to exactly how full it is. A meter works a lot better than just 10 meat shanks in my opinion, and although I don't like the visual look of it, I think there's definitely an appeal to playing with this on. It does make Minecraft a lot easier to just oh look, my armor bar is 6/10 full, how easy, and it just makes things a little bit easier in that regard to I guess count up and see the proportion of things. And yeah, the HUD, again, it looks a little bit like the plastic texture pack. It looks a little bit, or the city texture pack, it's a little bit square, it's very rounded, but still, it's got some things going for it. Also, the beds and it's something that I was like, I love these beds. I don't know why, but you can see with the bed model that they like to change a lot of textures. They've not only changed textures to make them go in bigger places than they were before, but they've also done a few things such as renaming existing items. So you'll see that my my axe is now a steel chainsaw, and the things that I chopped down with my axe or my new steel chainsaw are actually going to be entirely different colored trees. So the spruce wood looks pretty normal in this texture pack, although it is going to be called, again, the Rajifer wood, if I'm not mistaken, because it's an alien world. It's got alien wood, but pretty much any plant life you'll find is alien plant life. Any real life thing you can golden moon. Any single animal you'll find, they've been altered too to be alien. This is an alien version of a sheep. It's not called a sheep. It's just a what even is that monster? But still, you can see how this is something they've done on a pretty consistent basis, and I didn't figure I'd like it. There is so much of it going on here. I've got a hazmat suit on right now, for instance. What is that all about? I really didn't think I'd like it, but the truth is, jet glider on, for instance. But the truth is actually just about works, because most of the texture pack is really familiar. You can just about spot most things, and the things you can't, in my opinion at least, I found to be quite cool. So, for instance, if we look at these cows right here, or I think they're called mujifers or something, but if we look at the cows down here, you can see how they look a little bit like reindeers. Look at the pigs, and it's what even is it's like a horse pig kind of thing. All of the mobs in this update are super strange. Look at these. Oh, it's a bull, I guess. Oh yeah, it's basically a bull. But you can see all the mobs, and it's these are alien mobs. All of the wildlife in this texture pack is pretty wild, but all of the stuff that you make yourself is pretty consistent with regular Minecraft. I kind of like that although there's going to be some color changes, my brick is now white, for instance, stuff like cobblestone, stuff like wood, if you're crafting it yourself, it's going to have the same rough appearance. You can very clearly see my Let's Play world and how familiar it is, because all of the stuff that you've made yourself here, again, look at these stone slabs, for instance, look at the dirt, look at the cobblestone, look at the planks, look at most of the things that I've actually built out of fairly basic resources. They all are very immediately clear, and I kind of like that the world itself is alien. When you first load up, you're going to be looking around oh my god, have I, it's going to look like an actual different sci-fi fantasy world. But yeah, as you start to form it into your own thing, or if you take an existing world, like I've done right here, and I would recommend you do, you can already have it kind of pre-made in there, but still have the exploration factor for when you go out and find, the weird flowers, or find that's a dragon egg, by the way. Let's not question why it's out there. But when you find stuff for instance, if you look at the wood types, one of the oak wood or the var wood is just purple. So there's a lot of weird things like that. And long story short, I quite like the the very interesting contrast. Most texture packs kind of focus on either being really unnatural and kind of unnerving, or they focus on being really familiar, which is good, but they can't do too much detail. But this texture pack does a lot of kind of mixture. So another good interesting example is the water right here. So both water and lava have interesting textures that flow a lot faster than normal. Look at this water. It almost hurts my eyes a little bit to look at because you're not used to it. But you can see water flows a lot faster in this texture pack, and it does look like alien water. It looks like some alien version of a fluid that you just happen to need, and because you don't drink it, it's like, ooh, who knows what that is. And I was just like, I'm a big fan of the way that the water is done. I'm a big fan of most of the individual blocks. If you look around at most things that, again, you craft, it's like, yeah, this is, it fits the theme while still being familiar, which is very, very hard for any texture pack to do. So I'm going to quickly mention one more thing, actually, because I do have some redstone out. I also love the way redstone displays in the texture pack. It's a perfect just line on the blocks that you're going for. None of this other nonsense going on there. It's just easy as like, oh yeah, once you power it, then the thing turns on. I know I don't look at my sheep farm very much, but you can see, look, okay, it's powered, makes some red stuff come up. When it's not powered though, and when it is powered, it's still just a straight red line. Very clear, very useful for redstone. This is a ideal redstone texture pack, as well as being a great interesting one for the environment that you can kind of tame and make a bit more normal. So next up here we've got a forest. I want to show you the forest real quick, just because of the fact that if you look around the trees, you can see like, okay, we got green trees and we got purple trees. This is oak and this is birch. The mixture of these two makes for a really interesting, like, because this is what forests will generally look like. They combine these two trees. It looks super, super, super strange, but I also kind of like it at the same time. And in the same way, a lot of biomes just have entirely different color shifts in the way that it just, again, you can have these alien worlds within your alien world. That's a forest over there. This is a swamp, if I'm not mistaken. And the deep contrast between the two is amazing. But they're both really beautiful colors. I'm a big fan of the way the colors were designed in this. And again, given that most texture packs kind of irk me, they make me go, this isn't the Minecraft I love. I want to back out of this. It's interesting that this, that's the job for me. So do have to compliment that. Maybe I'm just in a sci-fi mood. Maybe I just like sci-fi texture packs. But everything I've seen in the natural environment of this is beautifully done, and that includes the Nether, funnily enough. So as we get into the Nether, it's probably gonna save the game, I believe. So check the top right, because eventually you'll see a floppy disk spinning around, and I really like that texture. But first, oh look, you can see up there, top right now. I really, really, really love that for no particular reason. It's just a really interesting, like take on the, because it's a sci-fi version of a floppy disk. So what if the floppy disk was 3D? Because the save icon and the flop is now just like, I guess the floppy disk is known as the save icon because most people have never dealt with floppy disks. I guess mostly including myself. It's just an interesting thing that like seeing it in a sci-fi environment, it's kind of weird like that, right? Like that what used to just be an icon to represent a thing of saving is now known as the save icon itself. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's focus on the Nether, because as you can see, the color design here is also really, I haven't actually seen the ghosts yet. They're UFOs. So the Nether is, I guess, space, I guess is the cells here, where you've got a really interesting color Nether. I quite like the purple-blue contrast. Again, I think they're really beautifully complementary colors, and I love the fact that there's UFOs flying around. It doesn't make any sense, and it probably doesn't fit in any theme, but it's beautifully different, and it's, everything is well designed to go together. Look at the ores, for instance, in the ceilings. You can see them, but they fit the environment. Look at the glowstone up there. It's, it all kind of fits the same basic theme of, like, we're going for something different. We want to design something that's going to feel like, it's a different place, but we don't want to mess up the, the complementary colors. We don't want to mess up the visibility of most things. And there aren't many texture packs that you can say do that in any effective sense of the word. So again, really, really cool to see in this context. So we'll fly around for a little bit before we go to the other portal. Look, long story short, Nether looks great. I don't think there's too much more I can really say about it, because it is I wouldn't say bland is the right word for Nether, because I love that, all the mobs look pretty crazy, but it is kind of like, you'll get used to the Nether real quick. There's none of this, unlike in a lot of texture packs where it takes a real long time for your brain to adjust to the Nether, unless you're building a lot in the Nether yourself, which again, a lot of people have done because it's a fast way around. Like, I've got this big tunnel that goes 10,000 blocks, or will go 10,000 blocks. Once you build in the Nether, I'd say the look can be a bit done wrong, because a lot of blocks just don't go in the Nether at all. However, in this case, this kind of looks like a space, so I personally quite like it just so happens that my builds happen to go perfectly here. So with that said, let's fly over into the portal over here. I guess we'll fly down into here. I'm going to fly a lot in this episode, by the way. I hope that's okay. And let's now talk about the underground, because like I said, there's 3 main areas you go in any given Minecraft texture pack, or really when you're playing Minecraft Survival, and given I review these texture packs for the use of survival, because in creative, any texture pack can work. You just have to use the right blocks in the right time, but when you're playing survival, you don't have a choice of like, oh, I can't use glass because it looks terrible, which, side note, I think it really does look terrible. But like, if you already have a bunch of glass in your builds, you just have to deal with like, oh, that looks awful. It's one of the things where like, oh, if you have a lot of sugarcane, say a sky-high sugarcane farm, you just have to deal with the fact that like, oh, it looks, you know, it looks like an alien sugarcane, but it's the colors are a little bit off and weird. If you're already settled in a jungle biome, you can't deal with that fact, and that's why I cover them in survival, because it's all about. Also, this is a super strange thing right here. Look at the contrast just immediately right here. But in survival, however, there's a lot of activities you have to do, and if you can't see what's going on, if it's too hard to see, then that's just that's just a problem by itself, isn't it? So with that said, let's go underground. If you don't know, this is my cave base. Again, my cave looks okay, I'd say, by itself. But if we go actually underground, all the way down to my thing, then I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because it's like I said before, where like, even though the above world looks alien and foreign and everything is a little bit off, like it's probably going to be hard to play your first world if you start survival from scratch. However, if you go underground, which you will eventually do, everything kind of looks normal again. Although dirt is purple, I think this is dirt, it might be gravel, honestly. Although gravel is purple, and actually, you know, it's a better gravel texture than before. You know, it's not saying very much. It could literally be anything, and that'd be better than default, but still, it's kind of nice. But if you look at most other blocks, they're pretty easy to spot, and everything is just doable. Like, if you're just down here to mine because you're doing a UHC, or you just want to get some diamonds real quick, or some redstone because you love the redstone in this texture pack, so you want to get some of that and place it down. Which again, look how perfectly everything is done with the redstone. But if you are trying to do something like that, then you just come underground. Everything works easily. I'd even argue this is a better texture pack for mining than the default, because of how easily spottable most things are. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I just, again, have a particular affection for this one. But yeah, the long story short is I think I really like this texture pack. I think I haven't played the other one yet. I think it might be interesting to do a comparison perhaps. But as far as Minecraft Alien Worlds, what do I think? I think it looks pretty great. I think there's a few weird, oddities in it. I think water flowing too fast has sometimes problems, but, it's cool that they tried something out. I think glass looks objectively terrible, and I think there's a lot of builds, in fact, there's a lot of blocks that are going to just look awful in this. In fact, I think all of the concrete has changed like hazmat blocks, so, if you build a lot of concrete, you might have some issues. If you build with a lot of certain blocks, there are going to be some issues. It could just be that this worked perfectly for my survival world. That's why I always want to say, like, look at the textures individually, and then you can decide, like, if you like the things that I've agreed with, then you can like what you've seen here. If you don't like that, then you don't have to. But it's, this video has mostly been about showing you the Alien World texture pack, and as far as, in my world, and as far as my world is concerned, as far as I am concerned, as someone who plays mostly Minecraft in my own world, I think that Minecraft Alien Worlds is one of the better texture packs out there. I think it's probably maybe in like the top 5 texture packs of all time, in my opinion, just because of the fact that it does such an interesting contrast of being familiar and being playable, while also being, okay, you know what you could call your world with this texture pack installed? You could say that it feels like you're on a alien world. But no, I really do think I think that the texture pack is a really, really good example of how to balance familiarity with new things, where it's like, oh, look at this sheep, it's a baby sheep that's not actually a sheep. Everything is recognizable and foreign, and it's a good mixture of the two. For my Let's Play world at least, and for any world that's, again, built out of similar materials, you should have a good time. I think just checking out the world is a whole different experience. I think that is something which makes... Also, look at this, by the way. I would say that experience by itself, it's something that almost makes this into its whole own thing. Like, the fact that in every single biome it looks like even the same type of tree, the oak trees, are just wildly different colors. I think the value this adds to Minecraft is more than a traditional texture pack, because it doesn't just change the textures, makes them different so you can have a different world. It also changes a lot of the names. It changes your axes into chainsaws. It changes your, chain into hazmat. It changes, I don't honestly know what this is. Energy bolt? Like, take a guess. I genuinely have no clue, like. But the fact that it changes all these things makes it a more interesting texture pack, in my opinion. I think it's probably, it might be a bit too deep for some people, and, again, I was annoyed because it took me forever to work out what the chainsaw was. But I think with a try, this is the best sci-fi pack out there, and probably the best building pack if you want to build some pretty fantastic looking builds, but that in survival. But with that said, that's my opinion. I obviously review texture packs for survival. Let me know what you think. Do you have any big issues with any of the textures you've seen in this video? Do you like it? Do you think it's worth buying? Let me know all of those words and thoughts in the comments down below. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to see more texture pack reviews, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Oh wait, subscribe with notifications. I've got to tell you that at the end, so that you might see more of my videos and I won't die. That'd be good. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.